Brought to you by GTA. We start with you.
Any questions, ma'am?
Senators met in the Committee of the Whole to discuss the refunding of bonds backed by business privilege taxes. Budget Director Lester Carlson says it's a straightforward refund for savings model.
The structure of the refinancing will allow for a $5 million savings in fiscal 21. That'll help mitigate the collection shortfall that we're currently seeing with the BPT. This is a very prudent policy measure that will allow for debt service savings in this fiscal year, $19.9 million in fiscal 22, and $13.1 million in fiscal 23.
Carlson said the refunding at lower interest rates will actually reduce the government's overall debt and will not extend the bond maturity date. But then the discussion shifted to the government's financial condition. Speaker Therese Terlahi brought up newly released monthly data that shows while the revenue shortfall narrowed in February, it's still about $22 million or 2.9% below projections. If it hits 3% or more at the end of any quarter, it triggers a fiscal realignment. Terlahi asked whether they plan to use any of the well-reported $600 to $660 million in discretionary funds the governor will be getting from the American Rescue Plan.
If there's a need to inject some money into the current year budget for continued public safety, public health, public education requirements, she is looking at that, but as far as cost containment, we're always looking at ways to contain costs.
Meanwhile, Senator Joanne Brown says while the legislature may not have any discretion over the governor's rescue plan funds, they will have their say on all other appropriations as lawmakers prepare for upcoming budget hearings.
Everyone talks about the $661 million that's falling from the sky and how wonderful it is, and the governor's saying it's my money, not your money, I get to decide what to do with it. There's still going to be components of the budget we're not going to have control over that funding, as we will with these bond proceeds. And I think I would like to look at the budget, certainly as a member of the legislature, and see where those critical needs can be addressed with money that is within our authority to appropriate, so that those areas that don't get support and funding can be funded.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.